Hello, this is Graham Pollard from the Scooter Crossing. My team and I spent the last year working on the following film, and we are thrilled to have partnered with Electric Scooter Guide to release it to you all for free. If you enjoyed the film, it would help us out immensely if you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot, and enjoy. In 1781, General Cornwallis surrendered to American forces, ending the Revolutionary War and sending the British packing back across the pond. In 2020, this hallowed ground lays host to yet another cornerstone moment in our nation's history. With this mighty shrine as my starting point, I'm prepared to ride this electric scooter 4,000 miles across the United States. While standing on the Yorktown Pier and staring pensively into the vast Atlantic, I came to a realization. Just like the legendary American generals that conquered Yorktown, I too had to stare the dangers and improbable odds of this expedition right in the eyes and tackle it with a veracity and determination the likes of which has never been seen before. With my mental and physical preparation at their absolute peaks, I kicked off the pier and got ready to depart. This is where legends are made. This is the Scooter Crossing. Let's freaking go, baby! Hold on, let's take you back to the beginning of it all. My name is Graham Pollard, and you join me on a different pier, this one in Salem, Massachusetts, in the middle of January. At exactly this time last year, I had the genius idea to ride an electric scooter 4,000 miles across the United States. I would not be alone in this expedition, however, because I was able to convince two of my friends, Brando and Christian, to join me for the trip as well. Brando, who I knew from college, will be filming the majority of the journey, while Christian, who I was able to convince to join us about 2 weeks before we left, would be driving our support vehicle. We knew we needed a route for the trip, so we selected this, the Trans-American Bike Trail. The route, which is typically used by adventure cyclists, is 4,000 miles and starts here in Yorktown, Virginia, and goes across 10 states and ends in here in Florence, Oregon. Although there were 3 of us on the trip, I would be the only one actually riding the scooters, which meant Brando and Christian would be falling behind in a support vehicle. So, for a support vehicle, we decided to pick something incredibly reliable, a 1991 Volkswagen Vanagon Westfalia. The Vanagon had 2 beds, which meant that Christian would be sleeping outside on the ground. However, it did have a full kitchen and plenty of space to make it the perfect vehicle for our needs. Lastly, we were doing this trip to raise money for a cause. I was a camper and counselor at William Lawrence Camp in New Hampshire for 8 years, and due to the coronavirus pandemic, this was the first year in their 108-year history they were not able to open to campers. We were using this trip as a way to engage the alumni and community as a whole to support the camp for another 108 years in the future. All right, with the introductions out of the way, and with my helmet back on, it's back to the beach. First, we had a ceremonial christening of the scooters with some hard seltzers for good luck. A Dub Z christened. And then we swagged out the van with some scooter lingo so it was looking good. And then it was time to take off. The next time the scooter's touching a body of water, it's going to be the Pacific 2 months from now. I am going to ceremoniously back it into the Atlantic. And now we're off. Let's go, baby! 4,000 miles, 10 states, 18.6 miles per hour. All starts right now.
From Waterloo to Wall Street, I stand on my feet for you. Segment and
That's one small scoop for man, one giant scoop for mankind.
All right, it's night one. It's a massive thunderstorm right now. I hope you saw that.
Christian's outside.
Christian's outside. He's never camped before in his life, so he's probably having a blast right now.
Morning.
Breakfast of champs.
We're making some sort of weird quiche type thing in there. Just huck it all in one pot and hope for the best situation.
DIY quiche, that's for sure.
We survived the best that Southern Virginia, Eastern Virginia has to offer last night.
I slept in this last night during a thunderstorm. That was fun.
Pretty tough.
Rattling thunderstorm.
Can't scare us.
First 90-mile day today, so let's do it. Before we took off for the day, we decided it was a good idea to actually learn how to use some of the equipment we bought.
All right, well, day 2. Just now trying to figure out how to operate our generator.
Okay, it's off. Turn fuel cap vent knob to on. Okay. You might want to back up. If I die...
We'll do a quick 2 out of 3 rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, first pull. First fucking pull, let's go.
Sounds like it's running a little rough. You got to take it off the choke, Graham. You got to put it on run. You got to put it on run.
I made sure to get one obligatory shot of me putting sunscreen on in the morning, just to make my mother happy. And then we got ready to kick off and hammer down the countryside of Virginia. We survived the Virginia countryside unscathed, but the first crippling injury came night 5 near Virginia Tech.
How you feeling right now? You gonna be able to make it on a scooter this morning?
It's gonna be the world's biggest challenge I've ever done, probably. The amount of vodka that we drank last night as a collective unit. When we said we weren't gonna drink at all, it's freaking ridiculous.
A whole handle of alcohol last night. Basically between the 3 of us.
And I am feeling the freaking pain right now, let me tell you. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to try to do 100 miles if I don't collapse on the side of the road first.
Best of luck, brother.
Not only did I not collapse, but I scooted all the way to Breaks Interstate Park, the Grand Canyon of the South. More importantly to us, though, the park marked the epic conclusion to the first day of the trip. We conquered everything Virginia had to throw at us, the mountains, the hills, the valleys, the bars, the brewing companies, and we're about to hit Kentucky, baby. Let's go. We were planning on visiting some of Christian's friends in Lexington for the 4th, so we figured it would be a good time to do some campsite workouts to impress the ladies when we get there.
You see this? This is the look of a man that's never slowing down.
Yeah, take this, TikTok boys. You're not getting jack tries like we are.
Now I can fight off a bear. Definitely a grizzly. And that's the shake weight 2.0.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful shot right there.
Just don't show anybody that I was crying, okay?
Yeah, no. This kid is tearing up.
No, I'm just so happy.
You feel bad for the onions.
I'm just so happy.
Boys don't cry.
While grilling those kebabs, a new and innovative sport was born.
Let's have a shuck off.
Grant, let's see.
But I'm glad
It's a bountiful harvest for social
piece of
places.
corn.
I can shuck corn faster.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Graham
Premature
cheated.
start.
Graham cheated.
Oh my!
That's how you shuck corn, baby.
Wow, Christian, you suck.
How did you do that, buddy?
The faster you go, the less heat you feel, brother.
That's how you shuck a corn. Brando felt left out of the action after the shuck off, so he volunteered to do every Southern man's favorite 4th of July activity.
That's the B-roll right there. That's how we do it in Kentucky. I drink the beer, he mows the lawn.
Yeah, that's right. And he cooks the burgers.
And Christian took some shots. After what turned out to be quite the embarrassing night for one member of our team, I'll leave that up to your imagination, lit up some sparklers to celebrate the 4th, and got ready to head back out to the road the next day. Alright, so we were in the middle of nowhere, closed in on western Kentucky, and one thing I can sure as hell tell you I did not expect to see is a zebra out of nowhere. A zebra in Kentucky. It's unbelievable.
With the roosters in the background.
This guy's got some alpacas, some donkeys, some chickens, nothing out of the ordinary, and then just one zebra. I don't even want to know where he got that.
All right, we just passed 1,000 miles in. Still got about 3,000 more to go, but it feels good to have that little mile marker done. My knee is pretty excited to be a little bit closer to being done. It hurts a little bit working this brake all day. Other than that, it has been hot as hell. We're somewhere in western Kentucky right now, just past our first time zone.
Blue pond over there.
A little pond. So we got a pond. Brando, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty beat after last night. Didn't really get a whole lot of sleep just because we stayed next to a train track and it woke me up at about 5:30. We didn't go to bed till about 12:30, so kind of low energy today, but we're working on it.
The reason we had to stay by the train tracks is because instead of finding a campsite, we would usually try our hand at the local Tinder scene. Typically, though, this didn't work, and we get stranded in a park like this one. This is not going well. Oh, it's pretty close.
Oh, dude, I can't do that.
Shit.
I know. I can't believe we didn't get any matches either. The deeper we got into the farming country of western Kentucky, we started to come across some real interesting traffic out on the road. How are you? Sweet ride! How you doing? Holy cow! What is this bad mamma jamma? Oh, round 2! Morning. Before long, though, we were wrapping up the state of Kentucky and getting ready to cross the Ohio River into the famous Cave in Rock, Illinois. We're coming up on the barge, 500 miles down in Kentucky. At the end of this road, hopefully you can see the flashing lights there. We're about to cross the Ohio River and make it into Illinois. The 2 longest states of the trip in terms of miles. Believe it or not, number 1 Virginia, number 2 Kentucky. We've dominated those. This is pretty dope.
Hell yeah, man.
This is pretty dope.
This is a great way to end off Kentucky.
The Cave in Rock Ferry, a blast from the past. This majestic vessel carried us the only section of the route inaccessible to the scooter or the van. It was a really cool and unique experience, which you don't get to see very often in the United States, and a beautiful way to cross the mighty Ohio River. Enjoy your ride, man. I'm sure it'll be a blast. And just like that, we were in Illinois. We immediately did what all great explorers do when they get to a beautiful scenic vista for the first time.
All right, Graham, get off your ass. Let's go.
We're going to the cove, buddy, the cave.
Cave and Rock, Illinois is famous for one particular thing, and you would never guess what it is.
Are you sure Crocs are the best shoes that you could wear in here?
Crocs are the best shoes for any environment.
Oh, Jesus.
I told you.
All right, well, the Crocs held you up there. Oh, Graham. No. Gotta stay with the Vans, boy. Honestly, yeah. That's what the Crocs were made for right there. So, nailed it. No, thank you.
You want some of that action?
No, there's a nice rag right there that you could rinse yourself off with.
I'm not touching that rag.
You could honestly just rinse it off in the river. Dude, those Crocs don't do anything for you in here. Oh, it's so much warmer out here. Holy cow.
Once again, however, we had no luck on the dating apps. Freaking bugs.
These bugs got us walking around in circles. It's a little tough, but we're powering through.
This is how we rest at night.
Night 14, baby. All the way.
I gotta start walking with them because bugs are getting bad on me too.
We were only in Illinois for 136 miles, our shortest state of the trip, and most of it looked exactly like what you're seeing, which was pretty uneventful. However, that did lead to some real interesting conversations in the van.
Can anyone tell us if elephants are also in the bovine family? I would love to know. I'm already ready for bed. What time is it anyway? 12, noon, high noon. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Almost heaven, West Virginia.
We have scootered 1,200 miles and we have reached Chester, Illinois, which is the home of Popeye. We got 2,800 miles more to go, and there's really only one way we could think of to reinvigorate ourselves for the rest of the route, so down the hatch. That's so bad. I can't do it. Oh, Popeye didn't raise no bitch. I can't do that. That was so gross. Oh my God, that was worse than I expected. Oh, that was nasty. Not only was Chester the home of Popeye, it was also home to one of the most important milestones of the trip, crossing the Mississippi River. Crossing into Missouri, baby. Missouri state line. It's like 45 minutes after I ate that spinach and that shit still tastes bad in my mouth. Popeye is much more of a man than I will ever be. So, first time out of Casey's. I know everyone in Iowa rants and raves about the pizza here. We're gonna give it a shot. They don't have cheese, I'm sorry, they only have pepperoni. I know that's not the golden standard, but one bite.
Everybody knows the rules.
A lot of New York flop. Okay. It's actually better than I expected. It tastes better than it looks. We're at a Missouri Casey's. So I don't know if the pizza quality at a Missouri Casey's is gonna be representative of the Iowa Casey's. One bite. I actually love the sauce. I'll give it a 6.4, higher than I expected. Cheers to Casey. Despite riding the scooters being totally legal, I was actually a little bit surprised it took till near the end of Missouri for us to get pulled over by the cops for the first time. It turned out that a logging truck driving by had actually called the local cops on us, but once I talked to them and was able to explain what we were doing, they had no problems with it and let us continue with no issues. There's something in the wheel. We've got our first nail and a tire pulling up over there.
Keep pulling.
Jeez, that is a massive nail. Holy cow. Oh! Oh my God.
Look at that bad boy.
That was buried all the way in there. So allegedly, it should heal itself right back up.
I mean, that's pretty.
You want to keep riding and
Keep riding and see what happens,
keep
I
riding
guess.
and see what happens. Situation report. Got a nail in the scooter. Entered here. Coming out here. I'm currently above I-65, somewhere in Missouri. We're gonna have to get this thing out, patch it up, and hope the scooter still runs because we don't have any extra tires. There we go.
Muscles. Yes. Oh, God. That's a good one.
Is that longer than the other one?
That's like when you pull a
I think it's about the same size.
She just had a little splinter.
Despite the multiple puncture wounds, we were amazingly able to pull the nail out and keep right on riding. This is thanks to the self-healing capabilities of the tires, which is really a feature that all electric scooters should have moving forwards. This is looking like our first foray into the Great Plains. Expecting a lot more scenery like this over the next 500 miles. We were high-key dreading scooting for Kansas because we thought it would be very hot, very flat, and overall a pretty boring ride. Alas, however, the morning was finally upon us. Would we be proven right? Or would we enjoy Kansas after all? We were about to find out. How excited are you to hit Kansas?
Hopefully it's not terrible, but it's gonna suck. It's gonna really suck. But hopefully, you know, we've been optimistic so far.
We've been optimistic about everything but going to Kansas.
We might as well, you know, transfer a little bit of our optimism over towards Kansas and see what happens. We'll be there at some point today. How many miles is that in today, do we know?
Like 70, I think.
Oh boy, so it's like a full day and then we hit Kansas.
Maybe 60. With just about 10 miles to the border, we did have one more very important stop before we could check off Missouri. Get your pies here and go across the street and buy your guns.
Sounds good to me.
Cookies Cafe. Love it. Trans-American Bike Trail right there.
Yep. This is
pretty
a
dope.
popular test.
Oh yeah. Should we just see ourselves? This looks unreal. Holy cow. Wow.
When I was outside,
Strawberry peach,
yes.
and you had chocolate pecan.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Incredible.
After we tackled that feast meant for kings, we prepped ourselves to get ready for the biggest challenge yet, entering the great unknown, the flat fields, the vast prairies, the biting headwinds of Kansas. On our first day in Kansas, we finally hit it big on the Tinder scene. All right, we're doing a handoff so Brando can look at the photos of this Tinder girl. Hopefully you can see this on the GoPro. Some incredible riding, if I do say so myself.
The first line in her bio says, "Are you the bottom of my laptop because you're hot?"
Probably changed it to that after matching with me. Our first stop in Kansas was the bustling metropolis of Pittsburgh. Located just 5 miles from the border, it was known as having the longest sidewalk in the world that connected two communities. We met this Tinder girl, Emily, just outside the city at the Strip Pits, which was described to us as the most fun swimming we would ever do. And showing us around Chicopee.
Gunner, come here. Come on.
Gunner!
What a good boy.
All right, this is about to be Olympic level.
Kansas, because I'm putting in some work for you guys.
Fix the hair.
Actually, I'm taking off work for you guys.
Yeah, way to do it. It's an Olympic level swan dive. This will be worth taking work off for.
All right, let me stand up then.
Yeah, this one right now.
All right.
All the swans in here are gonna come flocking to me after this. It really isn't a good.
All the swans
It's
in
not
here
flat,
are gonna come
no.
flocking.
Okay.
10 out of 10, touchdown.
Graham swan dive.
Graham has saved himself with probably one of the finest backwoods healing kits I've ever seen in my
I
life.
used to be wilderness first aid certified.
Yeah.
Naked and afraid. Ask. This is naked and afraid. Ask.
Yep, just literally a couple blades of grass. I think it's pure brilliant.
After swimming, we went and got some very patriotic chicken. God bless America.
Oh, Jake's fireworks sold here.
And then Emily taught us a valuable lesson about the real estate in Kansas. Hey Emily, how much per month do you pay to live here?
I pay $250.
That's insane.
It sounds hard to believe, but it was true. For $250 a month in Kansas, you can rent a 4-bedroom house with a massive wraparound porch, a lovely loft that overlooks downtown, and some chic and modern sliding doors. Of course, it did have the drawback of having some intimidating insects in the basement, though.
These things can jump 30 feet, so I would
What the 30?
Getting the heck out of Dodge like the macho men that we were, it did not take long before Kansas started to live up to its reputation of being very flat and very hot. What's up?
The engine running a little hot.
Okay.
So, like the red light started beeping at me. It was approaching that first line.
Oh
So
yeah, she'll definitely stop it then.
gotta let it cool down for
Yeah.
like a little while. Well, the van is no match for the scooter. Scooter's fine. Van's overheated one day into Kansas. Crew's a little overheated as well. And when it gets to this point, there's just nothing to do but work on your bronze.
I actually don't want to get up.
The current real feel is 107 degrees, and there was no aircon in the van, so they were feeling it. We did get back on the road, however, and we're surprised that Kansas actually had some lovely scenic vistas. We were also able to find a fantastic campsite at Lake Eureka in Eureka, Kansas.
All right, so we're cooking what we call man fuel, and that's rice first. There's some ground beef outside on top of the Yeti, unwrapped, of course.
Yum.
And then we throw some black beans in it, or beans of any kind, really. Some tomatoes, just for a little vegetable, fruit. I don't know, that's an age-old debate. Some salt, plenty of salt and seasoning, and boom, you're good to go, baby.
This was about as fancy as it gets when it came to our cooking, but the final product was a perfect meal for wilderness experts with as much ruggedness and experience as we had.
May have made a bit of a mistake here.
True expertise.
Little by little.
Little by little, baby. Gas. Every teaspoon is
Not
a
even.
precious little piece of resources.
Could be all she wrote. Oh, hopefully we don't blow up.
Day 2-4, super windy in Kansas. 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained winds. Kind of rough out there for Graham. He's getting a little blown around. Super windy. We can't even understand anything he's saying on the walkie-talkie. Heat index of 107 yesterday, and it's potentially supposed to get up into 108 today. We'll see what it turns out to today.
The extreme heat, biting winds, and intimidating wildlife were no match for an extreme athlete of my stature, and soon, only one obstacle remained between us and Colorado. My lips are remarkably chapped right now. Persevering yet again, we soon learned that eastern Colorado was even flatter than western Kansas, a geographical trait that I did not think was possible.
Keep going.
After an exciting border crossing, the new, drier landscape allowed my incredibly talented and professional team to get some winning B-roll footage. Brando about to get his hand chopped off. I don't know what he's gaining by doing it, but he's having a good time, and that's all that matters. All right, we're at the base of the Rockies right now. We got to go 4,000 feet of elevation in the next 20 miles, and I've done absolutely zero scouting or research about this, so will it work? I guess we'll find out. Our first stop in the Rockies was at the Royal Gorge. Nice. We had seen this place all over Instagram and thought it would be a major highlight of the trip, but then we decided not to pay the $30 each to go into the touristy part, so we just kind of loitered on the outside. The road up to it was actually very easy riding, not that steep at all and with a wide shoulder the whole way. There was a campsite at the gorge, however, so we got prepared for our first night in the Rockies. This is how conscientious campers we are. No our generator's here, our neighbor's right there. Get ready to run.
Gang, gang.
All right, scooter across America. It's the morning of day 29. Not too shabby a view from the campsite. We're scooting about 110 miles up to Breckenridge tonight. Through the Rocky Mountains. Everyone always asks how the scooter's gonna make it through the Rockies. Well, we're up here now and it's no big deal, but we gotta climb about 6,000 feet of elevation, I think, if I remember correctly, to get to Breckenridge. So, could be interesting. It was a little windy last night. Christian got hammered. This was when Brando starts feeling it at night.
And Christian.
This is the result. But I mean, a result is a result. It didn't blow away. Leaving the Royal Gorge as model campers and role models, we set off for a 110-mile day, plunging deep into the heart of the Rockies. We know what's coming. Situation report. The van is stalled in a parking lot in Breckenridge. The tow truck is coming, and then we don't know what we're doing after that.
Getting the van towed out of a parking garage. Fun times. How you feeling about this?
Not great, to be honest.
Gotta keep that morale high, though.
Gotta keep the morale high. Fucking put that windshield wiper down.
We're getting this bad boy towed out of here. She went 30 days strong before she broke down.
There were no shops in Breckenridge that worked on old Vanagons, so we had to get it towed over an hour away to Denver. Although we wanted to take a detour to Denver anyways, this left us stranded with no ride. That was not too big of a deal, however, because luckily my skills on the dance floor meant I was a master of charm and persuasion.
Yeah! Woo! Your frequency's like, damn it! Why did we go for cars? We should have just gone for scooters. Shit! They're so much more reliable.
Yep, believe it or not, that performance was enough to not only get the guy in that video to give me his hat, but also to drive us all the way to Denver. Yet another day stuck in Denver. We pick up the action after being stranded in Denver for 6 days waiting on the van.
Yeah.
Christian has got to the point where he needs to comb his beard. Yeah. Look at this friggin' chemo suave hairdo.
This is what happens when you become a man of the road.
We couldn't afford to be stranded in the Hilton doing extended push-up sets forever, so before long we had to transition to the budget hostel. We have been reduced to the hostel experience. I don't know, let's get an intro.
How big is this bathroom? We don't have a toilet?
No, we just did the sink.
We just have a sink?
That's what a private bathroom means, apparently.
So we got the one with no bath.
Smells a little funky in here too. The TV doesn't work. There's no air conditioning in here.
This side, it won't balance.
Brando, mechanical engineering extraordinaire. One of the handiest people you'll ever meet. I think I was on this. Alright, I got this on.
I'm just ready to find a bar.
I got that one.
Nobody touch it.
Nobody touch it.
Nobody breathe.
10 minutes away, 10 feet, social distancing from the railing. So now we've been in Denver for 6 days without our van even getting looked at, and God knows how long the van's gonna be broken down for. This is gonna be.
It's Wednesday. It's been there since Friday.
We've graduated from a $500 Airbnb to a $120 a night hotel, the Hilton downtown, which was pretty nice.
Pretty nice, yeah.
A $70 a night hotel, which is
to this pile of shit.
Day 7 of being stuck in Denver. We've hit a new low. Been lying on the ground here for the last 2 hours. Right next to a playground. Our last few days in Denver consisted of jumping off some swings, shake weighting with some girls, and of course, hanging out with some ferrets. Oh no! Soon enough though, it was time to get back out on the road. Well, our van got towed last Saturday in Breckenridge down to Denver. It is the next Saturday. We've been here a week. But the van, finally ready to go. What was the day one of?
No nicotine. Again. Quitting smoking's easy. I've done it thousands of times.
And in a blaze of glory, we were off. Back up I-70 to Breckenridge. Well, we were stranded in Denver for 7 days and our van barely slogged up the mountain. But when you return to views like this, it's totally worth it. Also got a manly vest, so I'm an improved rider from now on. We're about to freaking dominate the rest of these hills. The last 2 days in Colorado were pretty epic, but we made it to the cowboy state now. No more biker vest.
And cut.
That didn't work.
All right.
The last 2 days in Colorado were pretty epic, but we made it to the cowboy state, so time to move on from the biker jacket and into some more appropriate attire. Cue Old Town Road in the background. Now that I was in the cowboy state, I had evolved into the scooter cowboy, an unstoppable force of good looks and grizzled masculinity. I'm stung by a bee in the mouth, or something. I don't know. That's probably gonna look disgusting on TikTok. I'm in serious agony though, I'm not joking. I think the stinger is still in here. Fuck, man, that hurt.
All this land you see down here, owned by the same rancher, just over 5,000 acres, worth $60 million. Puts Kanye's ranch to shame. We got kicked out of this dope camp spot right here. Hell of a view. And the boys are having to carry this tent while I drive the van. How do you feel about carrying this for about 10 minutes?
Wondering if it's easier than just disassembling it and then putting it back up, but I guess we'll find out.
It's not. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she she rises early in the morning. Brando is a little fish. Brando is a little man bitch. Brando is a little bitch. Early in the morning.
All right, well, this is now our place of residency. That's where we migrated from, all the way over there.
We pretty much never planned out our campsites ahead of time, so when we stumbled into an exceptional spot like this one, it was an awesome surprise. If you're on public land, you can legally camp for free in most places, in a process called dispersed camping or boondocking. Since most of our budget went to booze or food, we took advantage of this as much as we could. We would occasionally, however, stay at RV parks, which for a cheap price you got water, electric, sometimes Wi-Fi, and some sweet unique perks.
Oh. Bingo.
All in two, baby.
Nice.
Nice. This back 9 ain't ready for us, I can tell you that.
Way too hard.
We couldn't dominate an RV park mini golf forever, so we also like to explore the local Wyoming towns that we stopped in.
Some majestic deer, some Bambi. It is Bambi, right? Just cooling it in town. I mean, look where we are. We're just in the middle of town. And we got some deer.
Deer weren't the only wildlife that we stumbled across, though. We also got to experience what you don't see on the travel guides. All it takes is opening the van door for about 30 seconds just to get our gear out, and this was the result. It was a fun few nights sleeping underneath the swarm, I can tell you that. At times, Wyoming really did feel like it was still the Wild West, a place where scooter cowboys are born and raised, and a true incubator for some red-blooded American patriotism.
So, apparently in Lander, Wyoming, at 12 o'clock noon, they play the Star Spangled Banner on the radio.
America!
As we drew closer to the Tetons and to Yellowstone, I bought some sweet leather chaps from a cowboy shop to complete my scooter cowboy look, and the road started to become mountainous yet again. Status report. We had a great view over there, but the scooter is officially dead. I'm actually just gonna turn it off. The van is nowhere to be seen. So I'm walking up this hill. This mountain has been going on for like the last probably 7 or 8 miles, if I had to guess. I'm really hoping it's downhill up here. But I bought these chaps and these cowboy boots, and to be totally honest with you, it makes it pretty hard to walk. So not only am I about to hike up a mountain, but I'm hiking up a mountain in about the worst attire you could possibly be in. But maybe, fingers crossed, it'll be downhill after this corner. It's definitely not going downhill anytime soon. After riding on a scooter, now that I'm walking, I feel slow as freaking molasses in January. I'm not a cardio machine. I'm not built for this. Hopefully I make it. The van caught up with me, so I'm back on the road, baby. We're at 9,600 feet elevation, so we literally climbed like almost 5,000 feet. Holy shit! 6% grade downhill for the next 17 miles. The Toketee Pass is the gateway from eastern Wyoming to the Grand Tetons. And as the mountains start to crest into view, that can only mean one thing. It's time for a nature shot montage.
I was just a kid back then, but I didn't fall in love like one. I was just the morning's friend, trying to make a way for the sun. I was just a flower child, digging in the dirt all day, hoping that I just might grow, growing up to be okay. Over, under, breathe in thunder, I am not myself. I won't forgive me.
Look at the rack on that thing.
Hey, now just the way it goes. Every time you hold my hand, I can feel the burning stars just above a breaking man. Oh, and you're breaking heart. It's hard to make a clear-cut blade, 'cause don't you know the broken break and the breakers stay the same.
Look at that delicious homemade soup called Campbell's Chunky. Yep.
It was a good thing we had a meal as hearty and nutritious as Campbell's Chunky, because for some reason the Yellowstone officials told us we weren't allowed to sleep in our van at the campsite. Therefore, Christian and I took the much safer route and decided to sleep on the ground when it was 32 degrees out.
All right, at about 120 miles, this is going to be the longest trip.
Longest day for the rest of the trip.
Longest day for the rest of the trip, and we're clearly feeling it already, so.
All of our minds were as sharp as ever after sleeping out in the cold, but nevertheless we persisted, wrapping up Yellowstone and getting ready to enter Big Sky Country. After 9 days, 439 miles, embracing the cowboy lifestyle, taking 0 showers and leaving the shirt on the whole time, and finally retiring the scooter cowboy look, except for these chaps because they're just too fire. I will now go back to my Macho Man Harley vest for Montana. Wyoming, potentially my favorite state of the whole trip so far. We'll see how Montana fares.
All our people got up and stood around to see us all blocked off so they can never get in. Yeah, the levee's bound to break. They haven't seen a storm since '93. Brought the law to my home, but they never got in. Yeah, my wife's still pissed at me. What you gonna do when our well runs dry? What you gonna do when it all comes crumbling down? The levee's bound to break. What you gonna do when a well runs dry? What you gonna do when it all comes crumbling down? The levee's bound to break. The levee's bound to break.
It's been far and away one of the most beautiful states I think that we've been through.
I was expecting it out of Colorado, but this is where you want to be.
I agree with that.
That's a lot of sheep.
That's where your hugs come from. Despite mooing at sheep, Brando did make a surprisingly astute observation shortly after.
I think it smells like smoke. Christian here doesn't really seem to smell the smoke.
I still think it's a cloud.
He still thinks it's a cloud. If this is actually smoke, there's a really large area on fire.
A few more miles down the road, it definitely became apparent we were headed into something fierce.
What's your thoughts on this? Do you smell smoke?
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly out here. We're about to go deep into a forest fire. It reeks of smoke. I'm on mile 100 of 120 or something like that today, so we're gonna push through no matter what, through the winds, the fire, and the flame. We're going down a headwind. The air quality is borderline China in 2004, but we're powering through, because that's what we do. We don't change the scooter the whole way, no matter what. The next morning, we were facing our strongest headwinds of the entire trip, which I estimated at around 30 to 40 miles per hour, and slowed my top speed down on the scooters to around 9 miles per hour. To combat this, I decided to draft behind the van, pulling up mere inches behind the cargo hitch. This is pretty sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. I can't lock my cruise control in at like the perfect speed for it, and I I keep getting within like a couple inches from hitting the back, which I don't really want to do. But this is the best solution for the wind by far.
We found what we think is the source of the forest fire. It's a couple 100 acres big, probably 200-300 acres big, and the last we heard it was 0% contained. So here goes nothing.
Although we were really never in any danger, it was a little intense to come within a few miles of a forest fire that we had started smelling a couple 100 miles back the day before. However, the road turned the exact opposite direction, and we were in the clear.
Out with the old, in with the new, leaving those old rags behind in Montana and found this new fit in Idaho. Idaho!
Welcome to Idaho! Our second to last day of the trip was home to long, winding roads, no cell phone signal for miles, plenty of scenic places for a pit crew to stop and wait on an electric scooter to catch up, and of course, some dashingly handsome potato farmers.
I call this little number the Spudmaster 3000.
Our first stop in Idaho was the metropolis of Lowell, where we made up 12% of the entire town population, and we got to demonstrate the utility of bringing an electric scooter camping. If you're at an RV park like we are, you don't want to unplug your rig, but you still want to go to the bar on a Saturday night, this is the vehicle of choice, baby.
The Segway Ninebot Max, the drinking man's transportation of choice.
When you take the scooty scoots out to the bar.
A new 50 Shades bondage necklace. Doubles as a scooter walk here. What electric scooters can't help with, though, is the struggles that free internet-obsessed millennials go through when they're traveling across rural America.
I'm pretty sure we've single-handedly crashed Wi-Fi the last like 4 or 5 nights we've been somewhere. It's ridiculous.
We came, we saw, and we conquered the Wi-Fi here. The next morning, we headed back to the Lowell sign, and Christian and I got ready to impress some locals. This guy's the best looking man in town right now.
No, I'm not gonna fill you up at the pump. I'm just here to watch.
This is maybe the most ridiculous thing I've done in my life in a Native American reservation in Idaho, where we haven't had service for 140 miles.
Graham, what the flying fuck did you do to
I
this?
zipped it up and it broke. Flipping you off, you can't see. The visibility is pretty bad in here, I'm not gonna lie. No one coming?
You're good.
Good enough.
You're good both ways. That tail just gonna drag the ground. See ya. Buddy.
As awesome as it was to ride around Idaho in an inflatable dinosaur suit, some of the views we got later that day were even better. Out of nowhere, we had stumbled into some magnificent scenery. Unfortunately though, what was one of the most beautiful days of the entire trip ended up also being the day with the most animosity between the three of us. There were 2 ways down this mountain, and at the end of this road I got waved over to the side by an old lady at this pull-off you can see on the screen. She was very curious what I was doing on an electric scooter in such a random place, and who can blame her? Unfortunately though, I did not get this on video, but the van drove past without seeing me and went down the mountain ahead of me. This led to them thinking I had gone the other way down the mountain, when in reality I was on the same road, just far behind. I do see the van, I think. With absolutely zero means of communication between us, and with limited battery on the scooter, I knew we could be in a spot of trouble.
No signs of Graham.
No signs of him.
At least the last like 20 minutes.
And theoretically, I think we should have hit him by now.
Alright, well we're in a really shitty situation now, I'm not gonna lie. So there's no service at all here. And we got separated. I have absolutely no idea how we're gonna reconnect because I don't know where the fuck I am right now.
Walkie's dead.
Walkie's dead. Phone service non-existent. Graham, let me just separate separate myself entirely from the guys.
Okay, I've decided my best plan of attack is to try to go back in this town, probably 3 or 4 miles down that way, where I was able to bootleg onto some Wi-Fi 20 minutes ago, and just stay there and keep calling them until I can get in touch with them. I got no better option than that, unfortunately.
He's gonna be pissed. The only person he has to blame is himself. True. Yeah. We're just out here looking for him, like taking the proper route. Okay, so what I ended up doing was riding back to this RV park and connecting to their Wi-Fi. Swiftwater RV Park. That's the road right up there. If these dinglings are smart enough to go somewhere and connect to Wi-Fi, which they're probably not, honestly, I sent them each a ton of messages, and hopefully they will get them and come meet me here.
The van overheated, so we parked it. Christian and I walked about half a mile to a mile up the road, peek around some bins. We can't find them.
I've been waiting here for Brando and Christian for about 45 minutes now. Still no word. I would have thought since they're in a van, they can actually drive. They would have been able to go somewhere and get Wi-Fi signal to try to call me, but not yet. Over under is set at 2 hours before they show up here. Let's see what it is.
We can officially say we don't know where he is, and we don't know what the right course of action is.
Luckily, I stumbled into the nicest lady of all time at this RV park, who immediately organized a search party. Well, that lady sent out a search party to find the van, posted it to all our friends on Facebook. Looks like we found them. They were about 30 miles down the road for whatever reason. I don't know why they thought I could get 60 miles with one scooter. It's 103 degrees out. Huh? I know.
Explain yourself.
I had a whole search party out looking for you fuckers. I had a whole town of Whitebird.
Explain yourself. I don't care what they were doing.
Oh, just explain yourself. Why the fuck do you go all the way to Riggins? There's no way I was gonna make it there.
Why the fuck would you pull off looking for Wi-Fi when you know we don't have any service?
Because I knew you were long gone and there's no other way.
If you said you saw us pass you. How do you know we were long gone?
Because I saw you pass me right at the beginning of Old 95. Judging by the lengthy middle finger that Brandon and I gave each other when they drove past, I mean, there's some severe tensions going on in the group right now. The tensions did not let up after that incident either. I'm walking once again because they are way too far off. And once again, the walkie is in charge. And once again, there's no service, so there's no way to communicate. And who the hell knows when they're eventually gonna come back and get me. Probably not for the next 20 minutes.
How long has that thing been dead, you think? He looks mad.
We're walking like a mile. You really thought when I said 2 miles, Brando, that my scooter might die? That meant wait 45 fucking minutes for me to get here? Jesus Christ. Brando and I remained mad at each other for the rest of the afternoon, but we eventually got over it and our spirits were lifted with the arrival of our last border crossing of the entire trip. Last state.
Holy shit, dude.
Home stretch, boys.
10 states.
This is insane. When we first crossed into Kentucky, I never thought I'd see the day.
Well, you're seeing the day now. Oregon could not have come soon enough, because not only were we exhausted, but the van was limping to the finish line as well.
This sounds so bad.
A few of our friends from back home were flying out to Eugene to finish a trip with us, and we were so close we were ready to put our heads down and power through the last few days to get there. However, Oregon wouldn't let us go without one big final surprise.
We're in the middle of a bunch of volcanic rock. Never expected to see this.
Our route up the Mackenzie Pass took us through this massive lava flow, which we had no idea was coming, and felt like we were transported into a completely different universe.
Of all the things we've seen on this trip, this is the only one that makes me feel like I'm on a completely different planet.
Pete Graham, just making it to the summit of Mackenzie Pass. 5,325 feet. The highest will be for the rest of the trip. I think you're just scooting away.
Off into the sunset and off into Eugene. We're in Eugene.
The boys are coming.
We're in Eugene.
The boys.
We're near Eugene. We're in Veneta, Oregon. It's the second to last night of the trip. We're gaming.
Touchdown
Our friends
about an hour and a half ago
are coming to do the last day of the trip, the grand finale with us, which is pretty hype. And they're gonna be here any second.
They should be arriving down that road any minute now.
Oh,
well,
the wrong way.
they're driving the wrong way down the road.
White arrows. Good to see you.
I told you I'd see you in Oregon.
Ceremony.
Dude, you did
Welcome
it.
to Oregon.
Well, not yet.
No, we haven't done it
Dude,
yet.
you guys made it.
You guys made it.
Yeah, it's complete crap, yeah.
Since we had been camping the last 2 months, our friends were eager to show off that they had elite wilderness skills like we did.
Let it burn longer.
My eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No, that's hot as shit. Holy fuck, that is hot.
Yeah. Oh, that's not looking good.
Not looking good.
Not looking good, gents.
Oh my god, I can smell the burnt. Oh wait. The inside, yeah, the like ground beef looks kind of burnt too. Okay, never mind.
How do you feel about this last day call?
The last day, man, well, me and Christian got a good night's sleep in. It's seeming like, wish we could actually see the sun, but
We'll see it in about 30 minutes.
that's right. So I think as we're scooting, I think it'll be a good little morning scoot to finish up, and that'll be that, man.
How are you feeling, Sir Brando?
We've never hit like a sunrise scoot before, so this will be interesting. Last day sunrise scoot. I'm here for it.
The sunrise scoot. I
Definitely
mean, is
here
it
for it.
surprising? We're like a bunch of fucking imbeciles, but you know.
We haven't been
Be
up
out
this
here.
early yet on the trip, so.
Of course, the day I get here.
Yep, we haven't been
the
up this
earliest
early.
day you've had.
But we got so much to do today, so we got to get out on the road and we just got to send it.
Graham, how you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm ready to be away from these fuckers and ready to conquer the U.S. like only one man can.
We're getting helmets right now so that we can join Graham in our finale scoot.
And we have come to the luxurious Walmart of Eugene.
Of course, come
Eugene.
to. And actually, this is gonna work.
I don't know if this one's gonna work. This one's not gonna work, unfortunately.
It's alright, I can't even find this.
Spilled so much coffee.
What are you doing in here, Graham?
Oh, just ruining my parents' van, brick by brick, step by step.
I can't wait to
We
crack
don't
this out.
have a way to cut these because we don't know what the multi-tool is.
Well, the tags are staying on then.
This is what you get for riding a scooter for 62 days. You get fucking jacked like that.
Alright, boys. I can't wait to rock this for the last 15 miles.
I can't either. We bought this
20
for an
miles.
hour's worth of use.
You can just return it. Yeah,
Well, they're gone. They're gone now.
They're gone now. I got the receipt.
Yeah. That's all you need. Just say they don't work.
I got
Onwards and upwards.
Hold on, I got
TikTok. All right, ready?
All right, 3, 2, wait.
Make sure he's got you.
3, 2.
I'm dressed in the Sunday's best today. I'll give you guys a twirl. We got 52 miles left of our 4,000-mile trip across the country. It's the last day, the last stretch. We can see the ocean in the distance. I can hear the seagulls already. Let's freaking go.
This has been our life for 2 months now.
down. I made a deal. I sold my soul. Give me 2 more days.
Look at this thing.
This is so illegal.
My baby home. Gonna embrace my baby's home. Need to be saved from shallow grave.
Almost done. Can't check it off yet, but we're almost done.
We had reached our last scooter swap of what had been a barnstorming 4,000-mile trip. We saw some incredible scenery, overcame some major obstacles, and had some unforgettable experiences. The real hero of the trip, however, was the Segway Ninebot Max. We put the scooter through hell, unforgiving terrain, massive hill climbs, huge temperature swings, and the scooters conquered it all. And while our van broke down, overheated, and clunked its way along, the scooters were the one constant throughout. Honestly, what a machine. For the last 61.5 days, these two idiots have been falling behind me at 18 miles an hour in our support van, but we got 15 miles left in our trip across the country, so I figured it's only poetic if we ride across the last 15 miles in style. We're not there yet. We got a couple 100 yards to go. But we're pretty close.
We're gonna try scooting through the sand. I don't know how well that's gonna go.
At long last, we had reached Hasetta Beach, and with the Pacific in sight, we plunged towards the sea.
But now I see.
We're in it, baby. Unbelievable. I never thought this day would come. Lewis and Clark must be jealous. They're rolling in their graves. Woo! Somebody count us down. 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
Buy your ticket at the door. Sure, the watching it will leave you wanting more.
Yeah.